know that this path is lonely? I knew that going in. Alienation was bound to happen, but I do this for the real ones. Though I come from the dark, I'm a luminaire being. I'm a lead from the heart, so I radiate light. Nor melanin in my skin, no blend as is dark matter energy.
What if we told you the plan to eliminate Captain Ibrahim Traoré never ended? What if we told you that the mission to drag Burkina Faso back under foreign control, back into the hands of those who view Africa as nothing more than a resource bank, is still alive and moving in the shadows? It's a terrifying thought, but sadly, it's the truth. Just last week, a video surfaced that sent shockwaves across the region. A high-ranking US AFRICOM general, standing before Congress, directly accused President Traoré of misusing Burkina Faso's gold, painting him as a corrupt, self-serving leader. A bold accusation, a dangerous one. But the story doesn't end there. Soon after his inflammatory statements, the very same general made an unannounced trip to Ivory Coast, the same country now harboring the traitors responsible for the failed assassination attempt against Traoré. Coincidence? That's what some would like you to believe. But in a world of silent wars and shadow diplomacy, coincidences are rare, and deadly connections are often hidden in plain sight. The signs are too clear to ignore. The pieces are fitting together too perfectly. And the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. President Traoré's enemies are not finished. They are regrouping, rearming, and preparing for another strike. And this time, they intend to finish what they started. Since April 16, 2025, Burkina Faso has been living on the edge of history. That day, President Ibrahim Traoré narrowly survived yet another attempt on his life, the 20th attack since he seized the reins of power. Intelligence reports revealed that the assault was designed as a large-scale, simultaneous strike. While terrorist groups would launch chaos against the people and the army, internal traitors would strike directly at Traoré and his loyal officers. It was a deadly strategy meant to split the country's defenses and leave Traoré isolated. But thanks to the courage of loyal soldiers who risked everything to expose the plan, the attack was averted. The conspirators fled across the border into Ivory Coast, a country increasingly seen as a refuge for those conspiring against Burkina Faso's sovereignty. Yet the danger is far from over. According to newly uncovered intelligence, the masterminds behind the failed coup have vowed to eliminate President Traoré before June 2025. No one knows why June has been set as the deadline, but the urgency is real and terrifying. From their new operations center in Ivory Coast, the plotters continue to orchestrate their plans, waiting for the right moment to strike again. Meanwhile, the political landscape grows darker. The same US AFRICOM general who publicly accused Traoré of misusing Burkina Faso's gold made his viral statement just days before the coup attempt. His words weren't random. They were calculated to weaken Traoré's image, paint him as corrupt, and soften global sympathy before the knives came out. It's a pattern seen too many times before. For those unfamiliar with Traoré's story, the propaganda could easily convince them that he is just another strongman desperate to cling to power. But for those who have watched him rise, for those who have seen him defy foreign influence, reclaim Burkina Faso's dignity, and inspire a new generation of Africans, the truth is undeniable. Traoré's fight is not for personal power. It is a battle for independence, for the future of his people, and for the soul of a continent long shackled by outside forces. Now, with the countdown to June ticking louder every day, the question isn't whether another attempt will come. It's how ready Burkina Faso will be when it does. The truth is, that was the plan all along. And just as the general's accusations against Traoré went viral, the coup attempt unfolded. Now imagine if the plot had succeeded. Imagine if Traoré had been overthrown, or worse, eliminated. The world would have been handed a ready-made excuse. They would have said he deserved it, that he was a dictator who plundered his nation's gold for personal gain. Public opinion would have been carefully manipulated, and few would have questioned the narrative. But we know better. We know the truth. And thankfully, the bravery of loyal patriots exposed the plot before it could be realized. Yet the danger has not passed. As we revealed earlier, the plotters are simply regrouping, and not without powerful friends. That same US general who smeared Traoré's name recently landed in Ivory Coast, the country now sheltering the Burkinabe traders. There, he met with the French-backed Ivorian president, Alassane Ouattara, in a series of high-level, closed-door meetings. According to official reports, the agenda sounded routine, strengthening the US-Ivorian partnership, discussing regional security challenges, violent extremism, and even illegal fishing. General Langley praised the Ivorian military's professionalism, calling them a cornerstone of regional stability, and emphasized the importance of joint training exercises and intelligence sharing in fighting terrorism. But is that really all they discussed? Did the meetings end with polite handshakes and diplomatic speeches? Or did they dive into deeper, more sinister conversations, ones not meant for the public record? In a region where coups have become tools of foreign intervention, where gold, influence, and power are often traded behind closed doors, it would be naive to take the official story at face value. As the clock ticks toward June 2025, the shadows around Traoré grow darker, and the forces gathering against him are not just desperate, they are coordinated. Let's take a closer look. General Langley proudly claimed that through joint training exercises and information sharing with armies like Ivory Coast's, great strides have been made in countering terrorism and violent extremism. But the reality on the ground tells a very different story. The Sahel region, and much of West Africa, remains mired in relentless insecurity. In 2024 alone, AFRICOM reportedly funneled $65 million into counterterrorism efforts and border security in northern Ivory Coast, yet the violence has only worsened. So where is the progress? It forces a disturbing question. Are these investments truly being used to fight terrorism or to quietly fuel instability in neighboring countries like Burkina Faso? The theory isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. After all, Alassane Ouattara, the current president of Ivory Coast, is no stranger to using chaos for personal gain. In 2011, he was accused of financing rebels to destabilize his own country, a brutal tactic that helped him seize power. And let's not forget, Ouattara has always been viewed as a loyal puppet of France, working tirelessly to safeguard French interests across Africa. So when a US general makes a high-profile visit to meet Ouattara, just days after an attempt on Traoré's life, it raises serious red flags. What exactly did they discuss behind those closed doors? No one can say for sure. But the timing, the players, and the patterns are far too suspicious to ignore. And there's a deeper, more personal connection. In our previous video, we exposed how Ivory Coast has become France's key tool to destabilize Burkina Faso. The Ivorian president's roots trace back to Burkina Faso, giving him family connections and influence that stretch across the border. Meddling in Burkinabe affairs would not only be easy, it would be natural. If Traoré were removed and Burkina Faso returned to civilian rule under Western influence, France would quickly reclaim its foothold in the Sahel. We saw the panic when Niger's military took power, and it wasn't just political. France, heavily reliant on nuclear power, gets 20% of its uranium from Niger. Niger also serves as a vital corridor for oil shipments flowing toward France and the United States. The stakes are not just national, they are global. With the rise of military leaders in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, the old order in West Africa has collapsed, and with it, the easy access France and the United States once enjoyed to critical mineral resources. The Sahel is no longer an open highway for uranium, gold, and oil. For Washington, the blow is even deeper: the loss of some of its largest and most strategic military bases on the continent. These are losses the old powers are unwilling to accept quietly. The solution, in their eyes, is simple: remove Traoré. France, desperate to reassert its influence, wants him gone. And the United States, as history has often shown, is more than willing to stand behind France when African sovereignty stands in the way of Western interests. It would not be the first time. History is littered with the scars of joint French-American operations to silence African leaders who dared to dream differently. Thomas Sankara, assassinated in 1987 with France's blessing and America's quiet nod. Muammar Gaddafi, hunted down in 2011 under the cover of NATO intervention after daring to challenge the global financial system. Now, once again, the familiar pattern unfolds. The same actors, the same methods, and the same goal. Stop Traoré before his vision for an independent Africa spreads beyond Burkina Faso's borders. But there's one thing they didn't account for. This is not 1987. This is not even 2011. This is the age of the internet, of social media, of a global citizenry that sees, questions, and resists. Across Africa and beyond, millions have risen in defense of Traoré. One of the strongest voices comes from South Africa, where Julius Malema, the firebrand leader of the economic freedom fighters, openly rejected the US general's accusations. In a statement that rippled across the continent, the EFF denounced the West's imperialist tactics, affirming unwavering support for Traoré. We condemn the West's continued interference in African nations' affairs, they declared, and their attempts to control our resources. The EFF supports Captain Traoré's efforts to reclaim Burkina Faso's gold for the benefit of its people and to resist neo-colonial pressures. The battle for Africa's future is no longer fought in the shadows. It is being fought in the open, and the world is watching. The EFF statement went even further.
Peace, everybody. Always want to start with saying that. So, the U.S. and Ivory Coast has gotten together trying to remove Ibrahim Traoré. Okay. Now, the Ivory Coast are imperialists, right? So it makes sense. It's a puppet in place. And low key, it's a strategic move.
Je le dis, j'insiste et je persiste. Nous n'avons rien contre le peuple ivoirien, mais nous avons quelque chose avec ceux qui dirigent la Côte d'Ivoire. Nous le disons et nous le répétons encore. Laissez-moi vous dire quelque chose. Permettez-moi de vous dire quelque chose. Il y a bel et bien à Abidjan un centre des opérations pour déstabiliser notre pays. Personne ne peut le nier et nous vous ferons les preuves dans les jours suivants. Nous vous montrerons des preuves physiques.
Allegiance at the end of the day is always going to be to my people. Now that something better has arisen, and it's also my people, oh, I'm there all day. Ivory Coast are imperialistic. They also was used in the removal of the previous leader of Burkina Faso through the use of that leader's best friend. Now, don't that sound familiar? Well, in a sense, meaning like someone being close to him. So we know there was an attempt using one of the soldiers that was close to him. I think it was $5 million they tried to offer him, and who knows what else came along with that. But the fact that God came forth and exposed the fact of speaks volumes, y'all. It speaks volumes. I don't think y'all really grasping that. It speaks volumes. First of all, it shows that they really believe in him. Number one, and that's dangerous. Number two, it means he's a threat. We done seen too many movies, y'all, where something righteous rises up. We see it. It's like classic at this point in movies. Something always rises up, and before it can turn into the flower it's supposed to, here come some motherfuckers gunning it down. Now you have to ask yourself, what type of people will want to gun down, kill, destroy, eliminate? I mean, we can keep going with the synonyms. You know, the type of person that's symbolizing freedom to its people and country. Huh? Because, as far as I'm concerned, wherever you're from, wouldn't you want that same thing for where you are from? So why every time we try to want that for ourselves, we get gunned down? When I watch those police videos where they get stopped and all of that, I see a whole lot of, we be trying to stand up for ourselves. Because, you know, they be always bitching us the fuck out. Like they used to doing, ancestrally speaking, genetically speaking. And we be just trying to hold our manhood or hold our, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, you're not gonna just talk to me any kind of way. Like, hold on, you ain't gonna just do me any kind of way. Like, hold on. Because deep down, black man, black woman, melanin man, melanin woman, you know and you feel that you have more power than what the fuck they making you feel like you have. It's a reason why you feel that way. It's a reason why that kicks in. It's a reason why.
Yes, officer, it is.
What are you doing in this neighborhood? You live in this neighborhood, and this is your car.
Surprised that I would license.
It's not adding up.
It's not adding up. What are you adding up?
Are there any firearms, illegal contraband, drugs in this vehicle I need to be made aware of?
That would be a no.
Well, you hesitated.
Because...
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm very sure. I don't know why you would even think that there would be any contraband. So what is it about my nice car or me that would suggest that I have those things in my car?
Well, you're driving very suspiciously. That's why I pulled you over. The speed limit's 35 and you were doing 30. So that makes me question a lot.
Wow. I was like, you got slowed down to brake or maybe make a turn or something? Or suspicious?
I think you saw me and got nervous.
Surprise. Really? What would make me nervous?
If you're hiding something, obviously. License and registration, please.
Okay, that's what I was waiting on you to ask. Okay. So, is my license? Probably should ask that before you assume that.
I'll ask the questions, okay? And this vehicle's registered to you.
Did I just give you those documents?
You know, you people always want to argue and make things way more difficult than that. Registration, your license. There's your citation.
A citation for?
I just told you.
So you can...
Reckless driving, endangering those around you. You're going too slow.
5 miles less than the... Okay. And I endanger people? Okay, but too slow. Okay, and you know, power doesn't come in a uniform. It really comes from...
It's illegal to be driving around with a broken taillight.
Yeah, after you broke it.
I did not break it. I'm trying to keep the speed safe.
Actually, are you kidding me? You know what? Intentional damage, intentional property damage is a misdemeanor. You want me to read you the statute?
Why are you dressed like that? Why are you wearing a robe?
Surprise, judge.
I'm not a judge. I'm a police officer.
Not you. me. How about that?
You're a judge.
No, I just ran this road because I have nothing else to do.
Well, you don't act like a judge. You definitely don't look like a judge.
Yeah, what do they look like?
Not you.
Oh, not me? What do they look like? I don't look like a judge? Well, guess what? I am one, and I'm on my way to work now. But you know what? I've sentenced more men with better discipline than you. You'll be standing when I walk in court. Surprise.
I mean, why didn't you just lead with telling me that you were a judge? All you had to do was tell me you were a judge.
I didn't have to tell you nothing. You treat every citizen with respect.
I do. I'm just doing my job.
That's what it'd make if I was a judge. What difference? You still didn't have the right to break my tail light, and then you give me a citation with that? I'll see you in court.
1019.
All right, moving on. The French, the Ivory Coast, the imperialistic people made a statement that they are not going to leave because they think Africa is a child. They think Africa is a baby. After being the beginning of civilization. Since then, Africa ain't made no kind of come up. Africa still the same motherfuckers y'all showing on them offensive ass TV commercials. We still that. All these years, niggas ain't came up with nothing yet over there. Where is that at? I mean, I'm just saying. They love to glorify our poverty as if every country doesn't have fucking poverty. I bet if we honed in on every country's poverty, we will make that country seem like it's impoverished. I bet we would. You're damn straight. When you're watching a box that's called Television, motherfuckers, is you serious right now? So anyway, they said they not gonna bag out because we feel like they still need help. God damn it. We feel like they still need us. It's still work to be done there to improve the people in the land and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We're not leaving. Like, how you gonna tell me? Well, I'm not your slave. And so that right there is where it comes full circle. We're no longer trying to be anyone's slave. Why motherfuckers can't respect that? I feel like they perceive him as a threat. He's definitely a threat. He's got citizens sleeping outside his house. And they taking shifts, y'all. Y'all know how... Yes! Fuck yes! Protect that man. Protect that man. Any means necessary. As Malcolm X said, any means necessary. Fuck the bullshit. Protect that man. Then I heard any African American that want to return with any African descent, free visas. As soon as you get there, come on in. Come on home. They not going for no okie doke. They not going for the bullshit. They not gonna sell him out. They not gonna do that this time. It's been too long. We've been in the age of information. They getting a lot of the shit we see. They seeing it too. All the conscious, all of the knowledge is spreading. See, before the age of information, they was able to control the narrative a lot better. Now that we are so technologically inclined, it's hard to keep shit, wrapped up. It just is. Too many people posting shit. But now AI, but even before AI, it was a lot of things that was coming into play that was significant. I'm saying so many people done woke the fuck up and then activated and then came online in the age of enlightenment. Not everybody. Some people digressed. You know what I'm saying? Some people went backwards. You know what I mean? But again, it has made it harder for them to cover up and lie or withhold or suppress. And like in conclusion, for real, y'all, I'm really thinking about Trump, right? Because y'all know Trump was my dog. You feel me? Because in that moment, during those times, that was the only like thing I felt that was righteous for us, because he was trying to just be about the US. Even though I know I may have reflections in this country or that country, this country, that country, you know what I'm saying? It was all about us because we have been done so wrongly by the demon rats. I'm just gonna call it what the fuck they is. I don't give a fuck who got some shit to say. The fuck? You want to defend some pedophiles? Some child sacrificing pedophiles? Bitch, where you at? We in scrap right now. I don't give a fuck if I lose. Bitch, but I guarantee I'm gonna beat your ass. So, I'm just wondering what Trump's state of mind is for real, like in private, like, because any move that he make right now against them may fuel the black people in this country in a direction that he not gonna be ready for. He gotta tread lightly. That's why he tried to ask him to come to the White House, but Traore was like, I'm good. But like, just like you trying to make America great, he trying to make Burkina great. I mean, I can't knock that. I feel him on that. And Trump took it as disrespect because I ain't gonna lie, I know he got ego. Hey, I didn't care about his ego. It was like, hey, he got an ego because he can have one. That's just what it is. But his ego in this instance, he should have checked it. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Because you gotta understand, you got a whole country that's being ran off of black people. And the way you treat Ibrahim Traore could ultimately affect things on the home base. And it ain't just African American peoples, it's Africans, thoroughbred ones over here too. Because they like to just call all black people just Africans, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going off of that narrative. But like, you may have the real Indians over here. We still gonna feel some type of way about what's going on to reflections over there. Because we all come from source. We were not created. We were descended. That is the difference. I want him to prevail, succeed, blossom, bloom, elevate, prosper. I hope he becomes an infectious disease. It's only an infectious disease to those who feel threatened. I want this movement, I want all of Africa, y'all, to just become one. And one day, I just want all of Kai's original inhabitants, its people, to realize they are one. But long live Ibrahim Traore. Please protect him. Do not sell him out. Do not snitch. Do not give any information out. We in lockstep right now. We in lockstep. Snitching and giving any information that could help lead to his demise. I speak it right now that you endure karma on a level so heavy that your seeds will not be able to recover. Ashe.
It's sealed our face. All we can do is wait. Prepare for the day. Freedom will stay. Peace will be the way that we all obey. The sun will shine and purify.
The first beings were plasmic feminine consciousness, fluid, radiant, and self-replicating light beings what I call the daughters of the waters. They carried the codes of creation within themselves. They were the architects of life, using frequency, light, and sacred geometry to shape ecosystems, atmospheres, and living environments. These beings were birthed from the sacred waters of Tiamat herself. They were extensions of her body, her mind, and her spirit. She was both the mother and the children at once, fractals of her infinite self. This is parthenogenesis in cosmic form. There were no masculine counterparts at this origin point.